So you just found out you have to sell real estate that's in probate. Now what? Hey there, my name is Angie. I'm a local realtor here in Northern Virginia. Let's get right into the video. So what is probate? So probate is actually a court process that aims to prevent fraud when transferring assets from one person that's been deceased, to the beneficiaries. So the goal is to distribute the estates to the beneficiary, which either has real property or personal property. So usually in the will, it will note a specific person to be an administrator or an executor of the estate. They'll be responsible to make sure everything goes smoothly. If there's no will, then the court will appoint an executor or administrator. So when it comes to real estate, only the person with proper authority can actually sell the property. If there is no will or it doesn't say who's in charge of the house, the court will go down the list of family members to see who's most qualified to handle the sale of the property. So this is a legal process, so it's definitely advisable to have a qualified attorney to help you go through each step the right way. Usually the types of attorneys that handle probate are heavily involved with estate planning and trust formation. So how long does a probate usually last? So from the time of first filing to the actual distribution of the assets, if a will is in place and everything's in order, it could take about 6 months, but it could definitely take more if there's disputes within the probate, which, it happens, but yeah, it could take from 6 months onward, and sometimes it could take a little bit less. It just really depends on your situation. Things that slow down this process is if somebody passes away intestate, which means they have no will in place, and if the contestor has limited authority. With full authority, the administrator can handle details with no delay. If they have limited authority, then each step is going to have to be monitored and approved by the court, so obviously this is going to slow down the probate process significantly. Do all estates have to go through probate? The answer to that is no. So the way to avoid probate is to have all your assets in a living trust, especially your real estate. So remember earlier when I said that probate is a process of transferring the title from the deceased person to the beneficiaries? Well, since technically the trust owns the real estate, there's no transfer of title happening. So probate doesn't need to happen. Basically, you'll name a trustee who will carry out your instructions and administer the trust, and you'll have the beneficiaries who will receive your assets per your instructions, and there's no need to get the courts involved, no need to get attorneys involved. It's just quick, straight to the point, and it's just the best way to set up your family for success. I'll have a video linked down below explaining why everyone who owns real estate and significant assets should definitely have a trust. So you can watch that after this one. So selling probate real estate the right way. Step 1 is to find a realtor that's knowledgeable about the probate process. You'll have to know how to prepare and market the property so that it yields the maximum profit for the beneficiaries. Since the property is in probate, there'll be specific documents that the realtor will need to use, from the listing agreement to disclosures. The agent will need to be aware of timelines that need to be followed in order to be compliant with the court. They'll also need to be in contact with the attorney so that everything goes smooth. Now it's time to create a game plan to sell the property. If you're already planning to sell, it's best not to leave the house vacant for too long. There's so many things that can happen with a vacant home. Major appliances can go bad, the yard can acquire fines if it's unkept, squatters can sneak in, and the list just goes on. So it's best to move quickly. You'll need to find out what needs to be done to the property, if you're just going to sell it as is, if you're going to fix minor issues, or if you're going to make major repairs like a kitchen and bathroom remodel. Next, you'll need to open escrow, to run a title search, and do property inspection. The title search is to see if there's any liens against the property, whether it be a tax lien, mortgage lien, or a mechanic's lien. A mechanic's lien is when a contractor has done work to the property and hasn't been paid, so they put a lien against the property. So it's very important to see if there's any liens against the house because it can make it harder to sell if they're not resolved. If making repairs, I can actually help clients with estimates, with pricing, and an approximate time of how long everything should take. Next is to take care of things left behind in the home. Now this can be pretty overwhelming, but there's a few options. There can be an estate sale, a buyout, or just donate everything. It's really up to the beneficiaries. So some beneficiaries don't have the funds to deal with repairs and such, so some contractors actually agree to be paid at closing. So they'll put a lien against the house and that'll be resolved at the closing table. So my recommendation is if you're going to sell as is, to not do any major repairs because there's no guarantee that you're going to actually get the value back in the sale of the house. So the best thing to do is just clear it out, have it cleaned really nice, and to fix things like maybe like a hot water heater or a window, so that way it can pass lender appraisals, therefore giving you a more option of buyers. Should you sell to an investor? The answer is it depends. If there's major issues with the property and or you need to sell fast, then selling to an investor is definitely a great option to go with. So as you can see, it can be a lot going through probate, especially if you don't live in the same area as a property. I actually specialize in probate real estate and can help you every step of the way, from clearing out the house to paperwork to getting the deal closed and getting the maximum amount of money back into your pocket. So if you want to contact me, my information will be down in the description. I would love to hear from you. Click somewhere on the screen to see another one of my videos. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.